The first mistake Warlord Kethvar made was thinking Earth's oceans were empty space. Standing 7 feet tall with chitinous plates covering his muscular frame, the Vorthak commander had conquered 17 worlds across 3 star systems. His crystalline eyes surveyed the blue marble before his fleet, with the cold calculation of an apex predator. To him, the vast waters covering 71% of Earth's surface represented nothing more than liquid real estate, prime territory, for his underwater mining operations and breeding colonies. "Deploy the thermal extractors," Kethvar commanded from his flagship's bridge, his voice a guttural rasp that made his subordinates flinch. "Begin construction of the spawning platforms. These primitive humans have left their largest resource completely undefended." The humans had tried to negotiate, of course. Admiral Sarah Chen of the Pacific Fleet had transmitted desperate pleas, offering mining rights and joint colonization agreements. But Kethvar had seen the surface dwellers' pathetic naval vessels, floating metal toys compared to his biomechanical leviathans that could dive to crushing depths and withstand pressures that would implode human submarines like tin cans. Within 48 hours, Kethvar's forces had established dominion over every major ocean. Massive extraction rigs erupted from the seafloor like mechanical coral reefs, their bioluminescent arrays casting eerie green light through the depths. Breeding chambers descended into oceanic trenches, preparing to birth the next generation of Vorthak warriors in Earth's nutrient-rich waters. The humans retreated to their continents, seemingly defeated. Kethvar allowed himself a moment of satisfaction as reports flooded in from his deep-sea commanders. The thermal vents were producing energy beyond projections. The mineral deposits exceeded their most optimistic estimates. Earth's oceans would fuel Vorthak expansion for centuries. But Kethvar had made his second mistake. He had never bothered to truly study what lived in those oceans. Dr. Elena Vasquez was the first to notice the anomaly. The marine biologist had been monitoring whale song patterns from her research station in the Azores when the alien occupation began. As Kethvar's machines carved into the ocean floor, she detected something unprecedented in her hydrophones: coordination, on a scale never before recorded. Humpback whales from the North Pacific were harmonizing with blue whales from the Antarctic. Sperm whales in the Atlantic depths were synchronizing their clicks with orcas from the Arctic. Pod by pod, species by species, the ocean's intelligence was awakening to a threat it had never faced. And the whales were not alone. Great white sharks began abandoning their traditional hunting grounds, forming unprecedented congregations. Octopi emerged from their solitary caves to gather in writhing masses. Schools of tuna, normally dispersed across thousands of miles, moved with singular purpose. Even the ancient coelacanths stirred from their primordial hiding places. Kethvar first noticed something was wrong when his deep-sea mining platform, Hydra 7, went silent. The massive installation, designed to withstand the pressure of the Mariana Trench, simply vanished from his sensors. When he dispatched a reconnaissance bioship to investigate, they found twisted metal scattered across the seafloor, not destroyed by human weapons, but crushed by something with immense organic strength. "Status report," Kethvar growled as more platforms began disappearing across the globe. "Sir," his communications officer chittered nervously, "we're detecting massive biorhythmic disturbances throughout all occupied zones. The native aquatic life forms are aggregating." Before Kethvar could respond, the main display erupted with incoming data streams. His tactical officer's voice cracked with disbelief. "Sir, sonar is picking up movement vectors unlike anything in our databases. Multiple contacts, each measuring over 30 meters in length, approaching from all vectors." The first wave hit Kethvar's thermal extraction facility in the mid-Atlantic ridge. A pod of sperm whales, their massive heads reinforced by years of deep-dive hunting, rammed the installation's support pillars with the force of living battering rams. As the structure buckled, swarms of giant Pacific octopi wrapped their arms around critical junction points, their beaks tearing through biomechanical conduits with surgical precision. Across the Pacific, Kethvar's breeding chambers faced a different assault. Great white sharks moving in coordinated formations that defied every principle of their biology, attacked the chamber's feeding tubes. But these predators had been modified by something. Their teeth gleamed with an unusual metallic sheen, hardened by compounds found only in the deepest ocean vents. In the Arctic Ocean, the assault took on an almost supernatural quality. Narwhals, their tusks glowing with bioluminescent algae, pierced the hulls of Vorthak transport vessels with the precision of organic torpedoes. Behind them came orcas, their echolocation calls coordinated into a biological sonar network that mapped every alien installation across hundreds of miles. But the true terror came from the deep places, trenches where pressure and darkness had forged creatures of impossible resilience. From the Puerto Rico Trench rose things that had no names in human taxonomy, cephalopods the size of aircraft carriers, their flesh hardened by millennia of crushing depths, their intelligence ancient and terrible. They moved with the patience of geological time and the fury of disturbed gods. Kethvar watched his empire crumble on screens filled with impossible images. His biomechanical leviathans, designed to dominate any ocean, found themselves outmatched by creatures that had been perfected by 4 billion years of evolution. Every weapon his forces deployed seemed to strengthen their attackers. The thermal dischargers that had boiled water on 17 worlds only energized the deep-sea life forms, while his sonic weapons were somehow redirected by the whale's own natural echolocation into devastating feedback loops. How? Kethvar whispered as his flagship's hull groaned under the pressure of something massive moving beneath them. They're just animals. Dr. Vasquez, monitoring the assault from her station, could have answered him. She had discovered what Kethvar never understood. Earth's oceans weren't just habitat for individual species. They were a single, interconnected neural network spanning the globe. Every whale song, every shark migration, every deep-sea current carried information across a biological internet that had been operating since before the first land animals drew breath. The aliens had not invaded empty water. They had attacked the nervous system of a planetary intelligence that had been dreaming in the depths for eons, and now that ancient mind was fully awake. As Kethavar's flagship was dragged into the crushing depths by creatures that shouldn't exist, his last transmission was received by human monitoring stations worldwide. The water, it thinks, it remembers. The Vorthak fleet disappeared. Beneath the waves, their biomechanical corpses becoming nutrients for the very ecosystem they had tried to conquer. Within a week, every trace of the alien occupation had been erased, dissolved by organisms that understood chemistry on a molecular level. The oceans returned to their eternal rhythm, their surface calm once more. But in the depths, ancient minds continued their vigilant dreams, ready to rise again if anyone dared mistake Earth's waters for something undefended. The tides had indeed risen in fury, and the planet remembered.